of the Tech Collective. For those of you who are unfamiliar with us, we are the IT Industry Association for the state of Rhode Island. We have a full calendar of events. I have posted the link to our calendar in the chat. There are two that I'd like to bring to your attention. The first one is tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. It's called Leveraging Company Culture to Improve Retention. And the other event is next Wednesday, April 21st at 11, Listening, an Underrated Superpower. And the link is in the chat. Thank you so much, Jonna of Vertical 6, for bringing Abby Hanson to us of Microsoft Ingram, who will be presenting today on Microsoft Teams, and I will turn it over to you, Jonna.
Okay, just want to tell you a little bit about Vertical 6. So we're a strategic IT-focused company. We ensure that our clients are secure and that technology is aligned to meet their business goals. We work with organizations across New England that either have an IT staff or don't have one at all, and we're able to cater to your unique needs. And one of our partners is Abby from Ingram, and we do a lot with Microsoft Teams, and we're trying to have more sessions like this so that you're able to understand what a lot of the features and benefits of Teams are. So this is just one of a series that she's been presenting for us. So I'm going to if you have any questions after this, my information should be at the end of this presentation, and just feel free to reach out to me. But Abby, I'm going to let you kick it off with what you do.
Great, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's always fun to be on these calls. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice, but you have to love living in North Dakota, where one day it's 80 and the next day it is 20. So that's always fun. But we're going to do a couple of housekeeping items here. So you are in your meeting environment. Up here, you have the hand raise button functionality. So if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. We do have a smaller group as well. Feel free to just interrupt me. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about meetings today. And then you can also put your questions into the chat. That's here as well. Okay. If you do, I like to turn on live captions, which is right here. This is your own personal experience. Sometimes I talk too fast for people, and so that's actually going to go ahead and show up down here for you below. Okay. I'm also, with your permission, going to go ahead and turn on the transcription. This is brand new to the team setting. So when I turn on transcription, everything we say will be recorded, but you're going to be able to come back at it at a later point in time to read what was said, just in case you missed something. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. All right, so you can see that the transcription is actually happening over here now on the right-hand side. Any questions before we get started on housekeeping items? All right, well, we're going to talk today about the Microsoft Teams platform a little bit more in depth. Has anybody ever attended one of my trainings before? If so, you can just go ahead and put your hand up in the chat window or write yes or no. All right, so we know because of COVID, which happened, it's hard to believe, over a year ago already, that we had a need to work from home. And with that, our workforce is growing, especially on Microsoft Teams. In April 2020, we grew by nearly half of the workers. So just imagine that over 50% of the population of the United States is working from home. 98 of them have expressed now that they want to continue to work from home. And so this gives us an opportunity to really learn about how do we become more effective through collaboration. It's crazy because when I work with my partners to actually help them grow their team's practices, a statistic I throw out is I live in Fargo, North Dakota. There's 230,000 people. And of that, on a daily basis, commercial real estate is going on the market because they've realized that they can do business differently and more cost effective. Teams is the fastest growing business application in Microsoft history. Satya had stated, who is the CTO of Microsoft, or CFO, or CEO, I can't talk today, I apologize, that Teams is the platform in the way we do business. It's no longer a product because we are able to do chat, collaboration, calls, meetings, everything all in one location. There's over 115 million daily active users, over 44 languages are supported, and over 4.1 billion meeting minutes have been used since last April. With Teams, it allows us to do a ton of things, such as phone system, online meetings, audio conferencing, telephony, file sharing, authoring at the same time. We can run our call centers on there, etc. There's just really a ton that we're able to do with the platform. So why Microsoft Teams meetings? They're consistent, they're familiar, you can use them across any device, which is great at the end of the day. I love the fact that I can go between my hub, which I don't have. I was doing a side meeting because the window was too bright the other day, from my iPad to my cell phone to my laptop, and I'm able to switch between devices without anybody even knowing I've switched. That's how smooth the transition is. So if I needed to jump in my car, it's automatically going to go to my Bluetooth and nobody would even know from that perspective. Real-time co-authoring. Sitting here at Ingram, we're building out plans on a daily basis. We're able to put a document up in Teams, chat, be on video at the same time, and still type and know who is fixing what kind of application. And I'm going to show all of this to you later. We can stay in the know. Meetings management is a part of it too, like knowing when your meeting's going to end. And one of the cool things that you'll see towards the end, when there's 5 minutes left, a 5-minute marker will actually show up on the meeting portion of it. We can translate live captions and transcripts into over 60 languages. You saw how I turned on the transcription already, as well as the live transcription at the bottom of the screen. There's audio conferencing. So if you didn't want your telephony system on-prem anymore, you could actually move that to Microsoft Teams and be able to meet any place, anywhere. What I like is that I don't have to use my cell phone number anymore with customers. They just know my phone number for work. And that phone number rings directly through my Teams app, which is secure and encrypted. So it's important to know that everything you do in Teams is safe. You can block phone numbers, you can block credit card numbers, social security numbers. So you're able to do all of that across the board. You also have great video, even over poor bandwidth. You can eliminate background noise. I'm going to show you how to do that. We talked about the security, and you can have a ton of people on the meetings, up to 20,000 people, which is pretty cool. They upped that with COVID. And you can transform every meeting and conference room with Microsoft Teams, including Teams certified devices. All right, so meetings made simple. We talked about it. We can meet any place, anywhere, on the go, at our desk, in a conference room, in a car. When I interviewed for this job over 1.5 years now, it's crazy to think I've been here this long. I worked at Microsoft previously, but I interviewed in a third world country in Africa. I mean, I was on my cell phone, sitting at my Airbnb, and I was doing this, right, with my phone. And so it's cool that we can do that. It's intelligent and inclusive. We can share content across devices, keep people in the loop, and easily to secure and to join. So I'm just going to show you what is this meeting environment that I'm talking about. I'm going to kind of go back and forth. So here, if you guys could turn your cameras on, it's okay if you're not camera ready. We have to be at a world where we have kids on our laps, messy buns on top of our head, right? And no makeup. This is just the way we go. And here we are, right? We're here together. We're in our meeting environment. I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera on. Thanks for joining. So here we have some really great opportunities. So let's say Joanna is our featured speaker. We can actually come up here and click the spotlight button. And when we click the spotlight button, she's going to be the only person everybody on the call is going to be able to focus on. Okay, so hello. Yep, I know. You got called out today. But this is nice because if you have a large company meeting, it's great to be able to focus on one person. Now, I love shiny objects. Like, that's how my mind works. It's constantly moving, right? And so if I wanted to pay attention just to Kim, I can personally pin Kim. Thanks, Kim, for volunteering without volunteering. But this is just my experience, right? Nobody else even knows that I'm pinning Kim. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and unpin Kim. Some other cool things too is like say Maureen, she's not really in the middle of her screen, but I want to see her better. I can go ahead and fit her to frame. Now I can actually see everything from this perspective. And she doesn't even know that I did that. Well, she does because we're in a meeting and I'm sharing her, but you can understand kind of if we wanted to be able to see everything across the board. Okay, which is nice. Sometimes when I talk to customers, half of their face is on camera, and I'll do that and they're right into view, which is great. Okay, now over here at the top is our participants list. Okay, when you're in a call, you can come over and click these three dots, and you're going to be able to download the attendee list. Now, what's really cool is this attendee list after the call is going to show up in the chat window. Okay, so it's going to be there for you as the presenter. But if you really wanted to get to it, you would come over here, come over to Files in your main Teams part. And when you go to Downloads, here is the meeting attendee list that's here. So we can go ahead and open that up. And because I need to not share what I have on my screen, I'm going to just let that populate for a second. And here we are. We're going to be able to see the time people joined and if they left the call, okay, from that perspective. You also have the ability up here to manage your permissions. Now, this manage permissions takes you out to a website, but if you come to the three dots here and you click on meeting options, it's the same thing, but with inside your tenant, okay? So if you actually set your meeting permissions before, so if you come out to, let me come here quick, I'm gonna come into here. Oh, just a sec. If you click on this meeting options when you schedule the meeting, it'll be either here or within Teams. It's going to bring you out here to set your meeting options before the call. Okay, so if when people can bypass the lobby, you can choose that. Announce when callers join or leave, who can present, etc. Okay, now if you have this set and your meeting starts and you're going to announce when callers join or leave, you can go ahead and change that here. Because when you announce that, it distracts your audience, okay? So about 5 minutes in, if people still haven't joined, I would change that button so people don't hear the ding, 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 okay? Here, you can choose who can present. I'm gonna show you something. When I come to the participants list, you can see everybody that's in this call, right? Now, when I come to my meeting options, and let's say John is being a pest, okay? Sorry, John, you're causing ruckus. I can go ahead and change it to only me. And then when I save that, he's not gonna be able to take over my screen anymore. So immediately everybody is moved to an attendee, okay? So it's giving us control. What's nice too about Microsoft Teams meetings is that if somebody anonymous joins and they don't let you know who they are, you can kick them out. So you can actually come over to the three dots, you can click remove from meeting, and they're not going to be allowed back in. Okay, and this is a security concern because if you look at some of the stories around Zoom, people were coming in and hacking the environment. We want to make sure everybody is safe and secure in here, okay? The other cool part about this meeting options up here is you can click allow attendees to unmute. You can allow meeting chat, disable, or do in meeting only now. This is brand new as of 3 weeks ago. Okay, so Microsoft is always updating. Questions on any of this so far? Okay, now we're going to come back over to the people. And again, over here on the three dots, we went through all of this from this portion of it. I can share my invite now from here. I can copy a meeting link or I can share via email. Okay, so if somebody missed it, we can send it out to them immediately so they're able to join. So that's brand new as well. Now we have the chat window. This is actually going to record, Michael, it will save here, but it's going to save, do you mean like in the, like an MP4 kind of format, I believe is how it saves. Yep, you're writing. And then it'll be sent out by the Tech Collective at the end of it. Yep, Yeah, you're welcome. And it's important to know too, when you do a Teams meeting, this recording will actually now save in your OneDrive. It's not going to save out to Stream, Microsoft's previous service, okay? All right. Now over here, you have the ability to chat. If this was an internal meeting, we could actually attach documents, which is great. So we could work on things here together as well. Up here at the top, you have the emotions. And so if you guys see the emotions, if you're liking the presentation so far, give me a clap, a smile, a heart, or a thumbs up. I'm gonna make you go hands-on. Perfect, awesome. So you can see how that is. I was on a company call the other day with like 400 people on it, and our CEO was on our call, and everybody was like hearting it. And it was so cool to see. It kind of like got the emotion going. So it invokes that, which is cool. Plus you have the hand raise function. So can someone raise their hand for me, please? Perfect. You can see this yellow box comes around the hand raise function. Keep your hands up. Up here, it actually shows you who raised their hand first, okay? So you have a queue here. This allows you to have an effective meeting. So once you answer those questions, you just come over. You're gonna go ahead and lower that hand. And then you can go ahead and move on to the next person, okay? And who doesn't like to get done with a meeting early? Like I'm in back-to-backs all day and I love to get a fresh cup of coffee or use the restroom. So it's kind of nice to have that there, okay? Now, here are breakout rooms. Now, if you're in a company meeting and you want to be able to break out and have side conversations, you can do this. All you do is click the breakout room box. Click how many rooms do you need? I'm going to go ahead and just do 2. You can automatically assign people or you can manually break out people. I'm going to go ahead and create the rooms. And now over here on the right hand side, you're going to be able to see those rooms that people have been invited to. As the owner of the meeting, I'm allowed to go in between the rooms. Okay, so it's important to know that that happens as well. Now, I'm not going to actually click start the room, but what's important to note is when you're in the room, it looks just like this. It's just you're in your separate room. Up here at the top, you can make an announcement as the owner, and that announcement is going to go into the chat window. Okay, you're also going to see the chats show up in Microsoft Teams. And then you can recreate the rooms and then change the room settings. Okay, so that's kind of fun. Let's see, we have a question in here. Can users pick breakout rooms for themselves and switch from room to room without no, right now it's just the presenter. Yeah, so that's something that the owner of the meeting would assign you to, but hopefully that will change. It's a great suggestion. And then do we have a question too? Is it Guerline or are we? Did you still have a question? Oh, you're on mute.
Question, all those features are do they come with the basic team meeting or do we have to purchase it, nope. Like Zoom?
They're all included. Yep.
Okay.
They're all a part of the platform. So when you own a Microsoft license that includes Teams, you get all of this. The only part of that you wouldn't get would be the conference bridge number. The conference bridge number is $4 a user per month. But if you add that on right now by the end of June, it's free for the first 12 months, no matter how many users you have in your org. So it's nice to assign that. And a phone number is super important because you want people to be able to dial in if they can't get on a machine. So
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now we're going to come up in here. You have your device settings. Your device settings allow you to switch between speakers. They also allow you to switch between cameras. So if I wanted to go to my Jabra Pancast 180 camera, which is now plugged in and looking, you can see my whole office, right? So you can see everything here from that perspective. If I wanted to go to my Eagle Eye camera, it's right in front of me. Hi. So I'm super easy to be able to switch in between things from that perspective. Okay. Now, they just added this. I didn't know it was here until right at this moment. This is kind of fun about being in my role. This device settings is normally in settings, but if you have headphones on and you have a dog, you can actually change this noise suppression to high and nobody's going to hear your dog. Okay. I moved into a brand new house and the other day they were using a backhoe in my front yard to put in my sidewalk. My house was shaking for 45 minutes like I was in an earthquake. and I had my Apple AirPods in, and nobody even knew. And so it was just like, I'm like going like this, and people are like, why are you shaking? And I'm like, there's a backhoe out there, and nobody could even hear it. And so that's pretty cool. So just remember, it's when you have your headphones on, you can change that. And so I would recommend doing that. Okay. Yes, John, you have a question.
Yeah, a lot of the features that you're showing seem to be Windows specific. I'm on a Mac and I don't see most of the stuff you've been showing us.
Are
Is
you
that
in a
true?
browser? Or do you have the desktop?
I'm in the app.
You have the app downloaded?
Yeah.
Let me do a follow-up on that for you, and I'll write the question into, or the answer into the chat after this call. Does that work?
Sure.
Go ahead and.
I just want to say I'm using a Mac myself, and our service provider Vertical 6 was able to give me the same experience of what Abby's showing. So I'm using my MacBook, and when I switch from my MacBook to my PC, the experience on the desktop version seems to be seamlessly. So.
Or maybe I need to update then.
And if you do an update, so I'm just going to come over here. Up here in the right-hand corner, you can click check for updates. And then if you are still having issues, maybe it hasn't hit your machine yet, because they go in a rollout plan, go to settings, then go to devices and see if you have it here. Because this noise suppression, I just saw it right now. It was not there yesterday in the Teams meeting portion. That's how quickly things are updating. Okay, and it's a great call out. Thank you. We also have some cool things up here too, like meeting notes. And so when you create a reoccurring meeting in your company, it's nice to have the reoccurring meeting have all of the information that happens to you stay in that meeting. And so you can see this is our meeting. It's over here on the chat section. Excuse me. So here's our chat. See, we have this going on. But these meeting notes will follow us as well. So if we wanted to, we could write an action item, notes, action item, look at Mac settings, okay? And then this is actually going to follow you week after week. And then when you add a new section, you're going to be able to go back and check everything out from that perspective, okay? I love that portion of it because my coworkers are like, well, we didn't talk about that. And I'm like, well, it's reoccurring. Let's go check our notes, right? Plus your transcription is going to stay there too. We did turn that on. Here's the whiteboard. Now the whiteboard's going to load. And this whiteboard, it's awesome. If you have a touch screen, you can use your pen, you can type in it. And I also download the whiteboard app to my desktop. Now I want to show you something. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to move this over. I was working the other day with a coworker. We're trying to do a Zoom compete campaign. Just going to throw it out there for transparency. And we're both working in here. We're both typing at the same time. And then when we come up here, when we're done, we can post this to Teams. So if we're in a team or a channel, we can post all of our notes there from a marketing perspective to be able to work on that. But here, we could even take these whiteboards. We can add in sticky notes, add notes. Looks like this interface has completely changed as well. We can now even add shapes and lines. Okay, and then here it shows you open in the app. So that's great from that perspective. Okay.
Abby, where was the whiteboard?
The whiteboards, you may not see it just because I sent the meeting link out, but if it's internal, the whiteboard will show up in the chat up at the top.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Do we have, John, did you have another question or did I answer that for you?
I did. So is the whiteboard compatible with the, the big Surface screen?
It is.
Is it? Cool.
Yep, I use it on my hub all the time. And then I actually use it between my devices. I even have Whiteboard on my cell phone, right, on my iOS. So I can go between anything at the same time. Yep.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And then you have the ability to, in this Teams meeting, to add in additional apps. There's over 880 of them now. So if we wanted to, let's just do a quick survey. You don't have to buy a survey app anymore. You just don't have to go there. Microsoft Forms will do it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a survey for everybody in Forms. I used to use Poly. I went to my marketing department to get money approved so that I could show everybody. And then 2 days later, after I had asked for the funding, Forms came out. I was like, I don't need it anymore. Thanks. They're like, well, that's good. You just saved me $100 a year, right? And so because North Dakota's weather's on crack, I'm going to go ahead and do snow or beach for our surveys today. Snow, beach. I'm going to go ahead and click save. When I save this poll, it'll automatically be saved in this meeting. I'm going to go ahead and launch it. And when I launch it, it's actually going to come up over here and show up in front of your faces. Okay. So feel free to go ahead and click on that survey. I am definitely a beach girl. I don't know why I live here, but you're going to be able to see the live actions that happen over here as well. Okay. And then I'm going to click done. And the nice thing is if you are doing an all-day meeting, like I'm doing an 8-hour boot camp tomorrow, I'm going to have all of my surveys ready to go and I'm going to launch them when I need to launch them, or I can do them on the fly. Okay. All right. So here we are. This is our meeting environment from this perspective. We have all of these different apps we can bring to the table. In the file section, because this is an external call, we can actually upload a file here. So I'm going to just go ahead and upload one from my computer. That's going to go ahead and upload. And you're going to be able to see, I don't know if you're going to be able to access it just because you're external and you're not federated with myself. Joanna might be. But once this is here, you can see we have this PowerPoint here. It's also showing up in the chat if you can see it. If you're able to get into it, go ahead and click in. Now, if you were able to get into it, we would be able to collaborate real time. I'm going to be able to see your initials here. When we work on this together, we're going to be able to edit it at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and write beach. We're going to go ahead and be able to do our design just like we would anywhere, and the animation and everything would happen. Okay, so it's kind of fun from that perspective. All right, and then if we wanted to, if we knew this was like a meeting for a presentation we were working on, we could actually pin it. So we can come down here, click our PowerPoint. Once it populates, it's just doing it behind the scenes. We can name it as demo and then click save, and then that's going to show up here for you moving forward. Okay, any questions? All right. I'm going to show you a couple more things that we can do within this team setting. So down here below, we have the ability to translate. So if I wanted to do hola, if you work with people of different cultures, we can actually come here and we can translate, and that's going to go ahead and move to hello. Okay, so we have the ability there as well. The other thing I'm going to show you, I have to quit sharing my screen and I always forget to do this, is if I want to include sound, there's a button in your tray when it pops up that you're going to want to click. But I'm going to go ahead, I just did that. I want to do an immersive reader. So somebody typed, Michael did, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click immersive reader. This is going to populate. Now this is nice and this is how we stay inclusive, right? Now listen.
Merlene, Michael A. at Tuesday, April 13th, 2021, 10:23 a.m. Does MS Teams create reports of attendance, percent of attending, and names of attendees?
Okay, so how cool is that? We're able to hear it, we're able to see it, and we're able to read it at the same time. Okay, up here at the top as well, you have the ability, we've gone through our meeting details, we have our gallery. If everyone was on camera, we can go into large gallery preview. This will actually show 49 people at the same time, and then we're able to go into together mode. Together mode is fun. I love this. We're all sitting in a stadium together. If we want to, we can change our scene. Again, I'm going to go with that beach theme again. Now we're all under the water. Okay, so we're able to have a little bit of fun at work, right? Who says it has to be more boring at the end of the day? Okay, all right. We'll go ahead and do one more setting if you want to. Let's do, what's number 50? It's all black. Oh, that's kind of fun. We could kind of like do a Mario theme too. But from that perspective, it's nice to be able to kind of get us back where we need to be. We also have the ability to call me, apply background effects. Now, I always say this story, but when COVID first hit, my twins were home, distance learning. I didn't have my blur on because that was all that was available. And one of them, who's 7 now, came in completely naked. And I was just like, oh my gosh, right? This is the new world in which we live in. And so you have the ability to turn on your background. You can click add new here. I uploaded this one, so if I wanted to, I'm now sitting at Microsoft in a team room. Okay, so you have the ability to change that from that perspective. All right, you turn off live captions here, stop recording, stop transcription. Any questions on any of this? All right, so this is all about our meeting experience. I'm going to go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper then. So we know, we went through the demo. It's intelligent, inclusive, based upon what licensing you have. You can put data loss prevention into your meetings. You can block credit card numbers, social security numbers, all through Microsoft Teams, so that your platform, even though it is safe, secure, and encrypted, you can add an extra level, especially if you're in a regulated industry. They're easy and secure to join. You don't have to be on Teams to be in a Teams call. You can go in through the web browser. You can dial in with the functionality of that as well. It's also easy to schedule, right? When you are doing Microsoft Teams, my calendar got light today, which is good, but it's super easy to schedule a meeting, right? And so we can come into here. If we wanted to, we would just click new meeting. We're going to go ahead and add our title. Okay. We can add required attendees, but if it's internal, you can actually do it from a channel. So if we wanted to do it from our Teams demo site and just click general, anybody who is a part of that channel is automatically included. So you don't need to go invite everybody anymore. So if you're having a team meeting for your whole company and everybody's a part of that, just do this and they're automatically invited. Saves you a lot of time. And then once we click send, and we come back to it, you can see the test here. And we open it up, the Teams meeting link is already included with that phone number that's there as well. Okay. And because the platform is so easy to use, if we come over to my Outlook, it's also showing up here, and then it's showing what channel it's coming from. And then when you meet in channels, what's so nice about that is that it all your meeting notes, all of your files, everything stays within that channel. Okay. We also have best-in-class applications across different devices. You can see we have a ton of different devices here. Plug in free Teams meetings and make calls in Chrome or Edge. You can call directly through a browser for phone calls as well. Live events and different room systems. Okay, it's intelligent, inclusive. We can share a desktop and applications. We can do recording and playback. Stream is kind of moving out because they're doing different ways of recording. We showed you the whiteboard, digital ink, background blur, and custom backgrounds. And it's easy to join and it's secure. I mean, I've taken Microsoft Teams calls in Athens, in Africa, in London. I mean, you really can do it any place, anywhere. Okay. All right, so the Microsoft Teams platform, it's an integrated solution. We have chat, collaboration, we have meetings, we have callings, but we also have apps and workflows that help us work better and stronger every single day and more effectively. And when I think about this, There are a ton of cool tools that you can incorporate into your business and get custom apps built that are going to help save you time throughout the day. It's been proven, and I actually see it because I spend 99.9% of my day in the platform. But if you're fully deployed on Microsoft Teams, you could get back an hour per day per employee. So if you're a 100-seat company, that's 100 hours per day, that's 500 hours per week. What could you do in your company to help you grow? And that's just one thing I want you to think about, because everything is happening there. You're not sending email back and forth. You should use Teams for internal and email for external, because things will get answered more quickly. You can work on projects more effectively. You're not sending projects back and forth. You might miss people. You might not do the project the right way, and then you have to go redo it, where everything you can see changes real time live, right? Which is great. So some cool tools that I've seen from a code perspective of, I worked with a C-store, like a manufacturing company, and the drivers just used text message to communicate back with headquarters. We ended up getting them on a first-time worker SKU on their, because they all had iPhones, which included Teams. On their cell phones, they were now able to communicate more effectively in a secure manner with their headquarters. They were able to make phone calls back and forth via Teams. It was recorded. The employer knew exactly where they were with location services. But what the really cool part of it is when those drivers actually delivered the inventory to the C-stores and put the inventory into the cooler, they used a bot on Teams to scan every single piece of article that went into that freezer. When it was done, they went up to the person, said, hey, can you sign here in Teams? They signed it, invoicing went back to headquarters, and they were able to decrease invoicing by 15 days, and they got paid sooner. And so just workflows and processes to be able to do this, it can happen. I'll quote Walt Disney, if you can dream it, you really can do it within Microsoft Teams. And that's why I do my job, is because it's so fun to see business processes become better at the end of the day. Plus the security. I'm going to talk about security all day. If you don't have security as part of your platform with Microsoft, you should add it, because you have mobile device management, Intune, data loss prevention. It's all included as part of the stack. You have enhanced virtual communication. We talked about a lot of this. We can talk to our employees. You have your favorite tools with Office, Teams, everything across the platform, across multiple geographies, and you can have meaningful meetings across the board. Okay, we talked about some of those apps. Your partners can work with you on that. I can work with you on that. Vertical 6 is amazing. So those are just some of the things we're able to do. Security, built-in information protection. SMBs are the #1 target right now for cyber attacks because of COVID. It has gone up by about 50%, so you can never be too sure. Take the time to really think about, if you were to become hacked, how much money would you lose per day? Not just on revenue coming in your door, how much salary would you lose? How much is it going to cost to actually fix the computers and get rid of everything across the board? And I hate bringing that up, but that's the reality. I had a customer lose $1.5 million per day because they weren't on a security solution, and they were only 300 users. So something super serious to think about at the end of the day. And it's over 90 regulatory compliances, so we cover it across the board. Teams, I like to talk about the boring stuff now just a little bit. Teams is sexy. We dive into this at the end of the day. But what's it built on? It's built on Exchange. So having your email in the cloud. It is safe if you're not there. 93 of the top Fortune 100 companies use Microsoft 100%, including Teams, voice, collaboration. Teams is built on a SharePoint backend. General user doesn't normally need to know that, but it allows you for secure document storage, right? You have groups in Office, OneNote, which I love OneNote because everything connects to it, and it's really just proven. Here's some of the devices. Now, John, do you have a hub, or was it Michael that asked me that?
No, but I've used them before. Yeah.
It's awesome. Like if I didn't have sweatpants on and have my business mullet going on today with, nice on top and sweatpants on the bottom because it's snowing, I'd totally give you a demo of that too. But the hub is awesome. I actually have mine converted as a Windows 10 machine, so it's my computer too. The 85-inch screen is coming out, so if you have large conference rooms, it's going to be so sweet. But you can do everything on there, right? So you have your all-in-one collaboration devices, you have your Teams room devices, desk phones, computers, mobile devices. So basically wherever you are, you can be on the platform. Here's our integrated workflow. So we can actually connect everything from Microsoft Flow to Power Apps to Power BI. You can choose Flow. Like one of the things I like to do is pay attention to the business for tech things. So I actually built a flow to where all of my news articles for tech come in right away in the morning. So I have that already built into my Teams, but you can do a ton of different things. There's also the new Microsoft Approval app. And I would look up Microsoft Approval. If you want to approve time off, it's really kind of cool. Plus, you could use Microsoft Shifts app. That one's fun too. So you can see automating existing business processes. So it shows you exactly how to do it. Waiting for approval, apply to each, etc. Pre-built templates. There's advanced scenarios that are available. You can build custom apps. We've already talked about that. I worked with a grocery store that all of the people on the floor that were managers had Teams on their cell phone. And if there was a spill in aisle 6, they took a picture. The picture went directly to the custodian. He knew exactly what chemicals to bring to clean up that spill. I mean, you can really improve processes from that perspective. Uncover insights with Power BI. You can build your Power BI templates directly in there. So you're going to be able to see the trends for your business. And then just some things that customers are seeing. So connecting people, making data more accessible through one platform, not having to go to multiple websites. Everything is located in one place. If it comes to training, learning, and development, it's nice to have everything built into one area, right? With training channels, tasks, being able to see when your new employees complete their objectives, etc. And then students, I mean, if you are, is anybody in education on the call? Hand up. This too, from an educational perspective, it's changing the way we teach, especially with distance learning. All right, does anybody have any questions on anything Microsoft Teams? We have about 15 minutes left. I mean, this is your time. I will answer anything you want to know.
Looks like Lisa had a question on what you meant with the channel.
Okay, let me go back there. What do you mean by channel? Oh, great question. Okay, let me bring this up. I'm going to come over here. So over here on the left-hand side, you have what are called teams, and then you have what are called channels. So your team is your title, and inside you have different channels. And so let me go ahead and see. Here's my demo tenant. So in the demo here, you can see this is the name of the team, and then this is a channel. So anybody you invite to the team, inside on the general section, everybody has access to that. And then you can have additional channels that you can add based on job functionality. Hopefully that helped answer that. Kim, did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I apologize because I've had a trouble that I've been working on. So I look away and then I hear you say something. Did you have flows added to your apps over on the left, or was it Power Apps?
You can add both. It really just depends on what you're looking for.
All right, because I did just try adding flows and it's not coming up. And I know Power App kind of superseded flows, so I wasn't sure if I'm missing something.
Let's see, maybe they did change the name of it. So there's Power BI, Power Apps. It would be Power Apps.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep. And then down below here on the left-hand corner, this is where you can actually play with your bots, your tabs, your connectors, your messaging. So these are all down here from this perspective. But if you come down to the help button, you're going to be able to see training. So, and I know this kind of goes fast, but all of these are under 3 minutes. So they're snackable videos if you get lost. Okay. Up here at the top, you have what's new. So you actually get to see the cool things that have come from Teams. The newest is you can actually share an email from Teams. And so was going to create a video on this for my team, but was playing around with it yesterday. So we'll just come over here. We'll come into one of these because this is all available. You just click here and then you share to Teams. So when you share it to Teams, you actually can choose what channel it goes to or what team it goes to. And that's great because if you keep track of customers or vendors, it's nice to be able to have that in one place and kind of eliminate files within Outlook. Okay, mine is just kind of slow today, but it does work.
Abby, question, is that integration only for the Outlook, the desktop, not the browser version?
Let's see. Outlook desktop app. Yep, it looks like it is. In Outlook on the web and the new Outlook for Mac, select more actions and choose share to Teams. So it looks like it's just a workaround that's there. Yep, that's a good question. The other part I like to go to, if you are technical within your organization, is the topics. So here's like the Teams adoption guide, some of the popular things that are here as well. All right. Any additional questions? Let me go ahead and go over to the chat window.
What is, I was just looking at my team app on my computer, 2 things. What is Brainstorm? How do we use that for? Like, what do we use that for? And I just realized there was a document that I prepared in Word and I couldn't find it, and it was in the team app. How did that happen?
Okay, so Brainstorm, where do you see Brainstorm?
When I go in my team app, I see something called like under file, like after file, there's chat, Teams, calendar, calls, file, and Brainstorm.
I don't know, that might be an internal app that your company has added for you, so you may need to ask with them.
Okay. And what would something that I created on Word, like in Word, goes to the team app?
So did you see it over here in the file section?
Yes.
So your company may have you set up in what's called a OneDrive environment where everything is automatically saved to the cloud. That's how I set up. So you can actually see everything that I've worked on or things that my coworkers have worked on is in recent. Anything that I work on in Microsoft Teams or my coworkers will show up here. My downloads are here, and then here's my OneDrive. It's automatically connected.
So will I be the only one seeing that for privacy, like that file that I created?
Is it under OneDrive on the left-hand side?
It doesn't show. When I go on it, it doesn't show if it's under OneDrive. It just shows that it's in file.
Where you see it under files?
Yes.
Under recent?
Like, hold on, when I click. Yeah, under recent, yes.
When you look on the location, does it say OneDrive?
Okay, let me see. Oh, yes.
Yep, so OneDrive's your personal storage, so you're the only person to see that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any additional questions? All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and stop recording. But real quick before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put Vertical 6's information up on the screen if you wanted to go ahead and take a screenshot. So let me go ahead and just do that real quick.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. Thank you for a great presentation as well. And if anybody has any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Perfect. You're welcome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. As always, it is a pleasure to be on here with everyone.